massive implications
And they gave
for
me my
a
money.
Senate race coming up there against the MAGA Republican candidate Joni Ernst,
And then
where
so
you
I
have
could
the
go to the doctor
Democratic state
anytime.
representative
You know what I'm
in
saying?
Iowa,
I walk in
a
there.
guy by the name of
All I have to do is
Turek,
show him my card.
Josh Turek, who we've had on the Midas
perfect.
Network, and he's got a ton of momentum.
And see, they're
in
going
that
to give you
campaign.
a regular
And then
doctor.
you also have in the governor's
You can
race,
go find you a regular
Democratic
doctor.
candidate and Iowa State Auditor
So you can
Rob
damn go just
Sand
like I do.
surging there
I
as
go
well.
every 3 months.
And this is also,
You have them do
I
everything
think,
to
showing
you.
that this can be done
Yeah.
in
Tell
the
her that you tell
midterms,
whoever it is
showing massive
that
signs
you want
of
everything
hope right here.
done.
Who
You
is
can even go to my
Caitlin Gray?
doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And
If you're unsure or unaware of your eyeglass
she's
prescription,
cool, she's good.
or if your prescription changes frequently
Indian
due to
doctor.
nearsightedness
Mhm.
or
Older lady.
farsightedness,
But
then the Smart Zoom
That-
Massive signs
Yeah.
of hope right here. Who is Caitlin Dray?
What the fuck is
37-year-old
wrong with my
Moms
side?
for
Feel like I
Iowa.
ripped something.
She was inspired by people like Stacey
real.
Abrams to get involved. She never considered herself a political person, but then recognized that politics was everywhere around her, even if it wasn't called as such.
And then if
And
something
these
good,
MAGAs
whenever they find out
were
what he's
intruding
my
onto
mom.
or into the homes and the lives and the freedoms
Ain't done
of
shit.
people in Iowa and across the country. One of the trends we've seen where Democrats have had these major upsets,
And that's what's
they've
bad
been
every
talking
time. Just
about
like
the
when
issues,
Tommy
folks.
hung up
They've been
on us
focused
that day.
on the
Now,
economy.
I
They've
was
been
there and I
focused
said,
on farms.
I'm telling
They've
her
been
the same
focused on
thing that she's saying to
healthcare.
me.
They've been focused on education.
And
They've
then
been
you're gonna
focused on
snap at me
jobs.
because you're
They've been
not seeing
focused
it
on
right. You're
issues
not.
that
Nobody's
matter to the
understanding what
people.
you're saying.
Where MAGA Republican candidates, in
So
this
you
case,
getting damn
just
mad
like
that you damn
Christopher
taking it out
Proch,
on us.
very
Yeah.
MAGA. It's like a MAGA publicist. This guy
You
was
see when I was
focused
at the
on
house, I'm
all
like,
of the
damn,
culture
Mom.
war issues.
You
Let's
know,
take a
we
look
was
at
at the house, I
Caitlin
said,
Dray's
damn.
30-second spot that really started
I said the
inspiring
same
the
thing
people
you
of Sioux
just said.
City. Play this
Yeah.
clip.
Across Iowa, rural
But you wanna get
communities
mad
are
because
shrinking.
I damn said it.
Schools are underfunded. Healthcare is out of reach. The political air is
Well,
toxic,
the
and the
mamas,
water
they
in
know
here
what to
is
do,
bad.
boy.
I'm done being afraid. I'm Caitlin Dray, and I'm ready to
Oh,
work.
I know, but damn, she
Let's
don't
send a
know.
message to Des Moines. We need thoughtful
We don't
policies
damn-
to
we
clear
don't
more
see
of
eye
our
to eye.
people and pipelines. I'm Caitlin Dray, and I'm asking
And I don't
for your
think we
vote
ever
in the
will.
special election of August 26th.
Some people
Here she
say
is
I
again
like
being
this. Some people
interviewed
say
by the
I
Sioux
don't
City
believe. I know
Journal.
you
Let's
gotta
play
show
this clip.
respect. You gotta. You ain't getting it.
What is the number one concern that you're hearing? And also, what do you want voters to know about you that you think they may not know?
The number one concern I'm hearing from voters right now is that we have an affordable
Just like when I
crisis
damn
in Senate District
tried to
1.
talk to her about what was wrong.
Housing and
with me.
childcare are
Paid
sometimes
for it.
difficult to access. And
That's
when
why
it's
me and her ain't
accessible,
close.
It's not affordable.
Because she would
The
damn,
same can be said of our
I would try
healthcare.
to tell her.
And running because if
I
we
tried to
can
tell her,
do
and she
better, and there are
damn
policies that we can enact
right.
next session that will
Oh,
make a
you gotta
difference
do it,
for the residents
you gotta
of
try
Senate
this.
District 1.
I'm like,
Something that voters
You're not
might
in
not
my
know
head.
about me is that I
You're not
majored in
listening.
Spanish and
I'm
photography
trying
at
to tell
Morningside
you.
College.
I'm
at
on with the
Morningside
rest of it.
University. So I
What's
can speak your
going on?
teacher in 2 languages.
I said, but you
Here she
motherfuckers
appeared
ain't
on the
listening.
Iowa Starting Line
Now, when shit
podcast. Let's
happens,
play it.
then
I
damn,
heard
you know,
Stacey Abrams saying
don't
like,
come down crying
political
and all
doesn't
that
mean
shit. I don't want to
partisan.
hear all that.
and so we have
Because you
we
was already
have
warned ahead of time.
conflated those two words.
told
to
you
mean
you
the
weren't
same
listening.
thing, But really,
Yeah, like
all
you didn't care.
policy,
Mhm.
all of our life is political.
Put my
Whether or not we can buy a
my
home in
damn
the neighborhood we
psychiatrist
want
and
to
all
live in,
that shit.
whether or
That's why I
not
don't
we
talk
can
to my
see
own
an
shit.
OBGYN when
I
we
don't talk to
are
her about
pregnant
shit.
or need
I keep it to
reproductive
myself.
care. And Iowa
Feel
is
like you talking to your
lapsing
damn
out right now,
self.
which is also unacceptable.
I wasn't
when we
doing
talk
that.
about wanting to attract and retain young families
Once I can
in a
damn talk to
state
the dog
whose
and they give me
population
more
is shrinking,
damn
aside
emotion than
from
what my
our
mom
immigrants,
does.
right? And so all of these things are political, and
That's why I said
they
I
can
wish I
all
was back
be
home.
rallying
God, was I
cries for
back home.
different
I should have never came
groups.
back.
And
Should have never came
I
back
didn't. I
home.
was not raised in an overly political family, partisan
Should've been
political
fucking in my
family.
damn car.
I have 2 very stoic
You talk
Nordic
that.
parents from the Midwest. But they did raise me with the value of helping your neighbor and doing the right thing. And this feels like helping my neighbors, and this feels like doing the right thing right now.
And here was Christopher Proch, the MAGA candidate, his interview with the Sioux City Journal. Play this clip.
What are you hearing from people as you walk on this? What are their concerns?
Yeah,
three things. Job opportunities. They want more job opportunities. Number one. Number two is the CO2 pipeline. I've been very, very adamant about that. I am pro energy progress, but not at the expense of private property rights. We cannot abuse our farmers and our ranchers and our landowners. I'm not a supporter of eminent domain. And then lastly is the nuclear power plant. You know, the possibility of maybe bringing that, you know, to Sioux City over the next 5 to 10 years via the county board. I've been going to county board meetings for months now, and city council meetings, and
Well, I can't wait till she do that because they'll be like, oh, you like to put your hands on motherfuckers?
what's going on out
That's why you didn't tell us all that. She gonna get caught at all them
You
lines.
want people to know about you that they may
One
not
thing
know.
that don't lie is that black and white.
Yeah, I mean, one thing people don't really know about me, huge family.
I had a feeling these
When
motherfuckers don't
Senator
want to cut
Hawley
in.
came here, up by Spirit Lake, you know, he made a comment to me. He said, you know, politics is what it is. It can be great, it can be good, bad, and ugly, but being a parent's
I just
best thing
got that
you can
feeling.
possibly do, and he's right. I mean, I look at my boys over there, and I think
That's what's been
they're one's
pushing
3
me
and
away
one's
too.
4 months old. It's just, you know, politics is amazing.
To
It's
go
a
to
passion
the
of mine.
doctor.
And so is the Sioux City
I know,
area.
man, I'm a
But
fucking deputy.
family first. You know, and I
Every time I
spend
go in that motherfucker, they do surgery on me.
Yeah.
Our good
Every
friend
time.
here on the
Every
Midas
time I
Touch
go in the
Network,
fucking damn
Josh
doctor, they
Turek,
give me-
right
they
there.
do surgery
You see,
on
Turek was born with spina bifida.
Fuck
caused
that
by
shit. I know
an
sometimes you feel
orange.
like, man,
His
fuck that
father
shit.
was inflicted in
Do you
the
feel like that
Vietnam
sometimes?
War. He
Man,
literally
fuck
has
that
to
shit.
pull
Oh, get
himself
surgery?
in 21 surgeries
I'm gonna
before he
live.
was like 12
Long-
years old.
longer.
He has to pull himself up
I'm just
in a
trying to do
wheelchair
too much
to
for
go
the
knock
damn-
on doors. But here he says, I know the importance of knocking
granddaddy or
doors to earn every
Something.
vote.
Something.
Had a great
Keep the
canvas
name
launch
going.
with Caitlin Dre.
Yeah.
If you can help Caitlin out by knocking doors or making calls, and let's massive upset just took place in Deep Red, Iowa, where the
At this very moment, children at St. Jude are fighting to survive. With a gift right now, you can join the
But if we do make it all the way down to the water, but the goal of this part of the flight is to learn as much as we can about the ship's heat shield. Fully reusable, rapidly.
They pulled out of it. You know Michael Jackson was a Virgo too.
Mhm.
Michael Jackson was a Virgo. Beyonce a Virgo. Like I said, I want somebody to ask me like, who you want to do a feature with? I said I want Beyonce on set.
Look what they did. What they're saying.
Play that one, Tony.
It made me feel inspired and really good. And he was always real nice to me, sitting there, what's wrong with you, boy? What?
You hear that shit?
Calmly, whatever.
Things around Malcolm Jamal Warner's passing continue to get more strange, but now it's taken a turn no one expected. Dave Chappelle has finally come forward, breaking his silence about what really happened to him with claims that make it sound even more disturbing. He says this wasn't just some random accident. It happened because Malcolm refused to go along with something big, and Dave would
They
know.
saying Diddy
Years
free.
ago, he was in the same position, and the
On my
only
live,
reason
they
he
said
still
they
cares
done
is
let
because he
Diddy
left the
free.
country without telling a single person, not even his own family. Back then, people laughed at him, called him crazy, and said he lost his mind. But over time, his story started to feel a lot more real. Malcolm thought just saying no would be enough to move on. But if we've learned anything from Dave and Cat Williams, it's that in that world, saying no can bring real trouble. And now people are wondering if losing Malcolm was really just bad luck or if something much bigger was going on behind the scenes. Sources report that Malcolm Jamal Warner's passing took place roughly a week ago while he was swimming off the coast of Costa Rica. According to initial statements, a powerful current pulled him farther into the ocean, making it impossible to return to shore. He and another swimmer were eventually brought back by bystanders who rushed to help. While the other man survived, Warner could not be revived despite immediate and continuous efforts.
CPR was administered at the scene, and emergency crews from the Costa Rican Red Cross worked for more than 45 minutes to try and stabilize him, but those attempts were ultimately unsuccessful. Around the same time, TMZ released exclusive footage showing Warner's arrival in Costa Rica. In the video, he appeared in good spirits, seemingly looking forward to enjoying his time and eventually returning home to his family.
Heartbreaking new details in the accidental drowning death of Malcolm Jamal Warner.
In the morning, Mr. Warner had surf lessons with his family.
But some online observers claim that certain powerful figures he had previously refused to work with may have had other plans. These whispers quickly spread, with many saying they never fully believed the explanation of a simple accident. Instead, the conversation shifted toward the possibility that other factors may have been involved, a theory that has only gained traction as more people began to question the events of that day. What really fueled the suspicion was what Malcolm had been saying just days before his trip. According to people close to him, he had been speaking openly about turning down a major offer from high-ranking industry figures. It wasn't just about a job. This was described as an opportunity that came with strings attached, asking him to compromise on everything he believed in. In his own words, it would have meant giving up a part of himself for money and fame. He refused. Public interviews from earlier in his career show him talking about being selective with his roles, choosing projects that didn't misrepresent his community or push harmful stereotypes. He often credited his mother and his management team for teaching him the value of protecting his image and his integrity. That's why when people heard he had turned down something huge right before this incident, it didn't sit right. Some began connecting it to the long-running whispers in Hollywood about celebrities being offered so-called soul-selling deals, the kind that promise wealth and power but allegedly come with dangerous consequences for saying no. And Malcolm wasn't the only one. In recent weeks, other entertainers have hinted at being approached with similar offers, adding more fuel to the idea that his refusal could have made him a target. Malcolm's story quickly drew comparisons to other well-known names who have spoken about the same kind of pressure. Dave Chappelle is perhaps the most famous example. Years ago, at the height of his career, he was offered a massive deal, but walked away after learning what came with it. Soon after, he vanished from the spotlight, leaving the country without telling anyone, not even his own family. At the time, headlines mocked him, calling him unstable, but his later interviews painted a much different picture, one of someone escaping a situation he believes could ruin him. Then there's Cat Williams, who has spoken about similar encounters, claiming that rejecting certain offers in the entertainment industry can put a person in real danger. Singer Chloe Bailey also revealed during a live session that she was approached with what she described as a sellout deal. She explained how the proposal reminded her of the dark themes in a project she had just watched, where characters who refused to give in faced constant battles while those who accepted seemed to thrive. All of these stories share the same core, artists standing firm against offers they felt crossed a moral line, and afterward facing backlash, suspicion, or worse.
I spoke with one of the lifeguards in Costa Rica. He reveals Malcolm's 8-year-old daughter was also rescued from the water.
With so many parallels, Malcolm's situation no longer seemed like an isolated case to the growing number of people connecting these dots. As the speculation spread, some began looking for patterns in Malcolm's case, drawing on a type of numerology often discussed in conspiracy circles. They pointed to his age 54 and noted how, in certain belief systems, those numbers are tied to cycles of completion and transitions. To them, it wasn't just a number, it was a sign. But this was only the beginning. Fans also remembered that The Cosby Show, the series that made Malcolm a household name, ran for 8 seasons with a total of 200 episodes. July 20, the date of his reported passing, is the 201st day of the year. For those convinced that the entertainment industry hides messages in plain sight, these overlapping figures were not a coincidence. Online forums and social media threads lit up, comparing this 200 link to Event 21, a pandemic simulation exercise held shortly before the global health crisis of 2020. Supporters of this theory believe such repeated numbers are a form of symbolic marker, appearing before significant or orchestrated events. Skeptics quickly dismissed the comparisons as pure chance, but for others, these patterns were part of a hidden code. The theory gained more traction when people began pointing out that other entertainers tied to alleged industry pushback had similar odd number overlaps in their timelines, from release dates to contract expirations, and even the days major scandals broke. To believers, these connections
Trump 28, this nigga trip up pass.
Whether intentional or not, these numbers have now become part of the larger conversation, pulling in even those who were initially skeptical. After all, if these patterns truly are random, why do they seem to keep showing up in the most controversial moments? By this point, the conversation around Malcolm Jamal Warner had moved far beyond the official report. Every detail from the timing of the incident to his recent refusal of a major offer was being re-examined through a more suspicious lens. Supporters pointed out that Malcolm was known for being careful, disciplined, and not the type to take unnecessary risks in unfamiliar waters. Friends and longtime colleagues described him as thoughtful and measured, someone who always considered the impact of his actions on both his career and his family. This made the official version harder for them to accept.
Bro. What? The actor Malcolm Jamal Warner has died. First of all, rest in peace to him. He seemed like a very stand-up guy, positive role model. But I looked into this whole thing, and it gets weird. First, let's start with the age he died at, which is 54. 5 plus 4 is 9. You guys know about my 9 videos, and 9 is the number of completion. But also, the show that he was famous for, The Cosby Show, in gematria equals up to 54 as well. Then let's go to the date he actually died on, which is July 20th, which is the 201st day of the year. Yeah, can anybody tell me why The Cosby Show ran for a total of 8 seasons, equaling 201 episodes?
Then there were the unanswered questions, such as the identity of the other swimmer and why there had been so little follow-up on their account. Was their story consistent? Why didn't major outlets press for details? Even the video footage showing Malcolm arriving for his trip added
that
fuel
is
to the
true.
speculation. He
I
appeared
thought